The following program is sponsored by A Talk with Armani.
Welcome to A Talk with Armani. I am your host, Armani Iman. This is the show that takes you behind the scenes and in front of the screen of all different types of productions. Whether it's a feature film, a brand new TV show, or writing a book, I introduce you to those powerhouses that make those productions work. Make sure you stay tuned as I bring to you my first guest. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So, inspiration, encouragement, self-esteem, and faith. Those are all the things, those are tentacles of life that we need to be able to push forward just to make it to the next day. But when you have someone that assists you by just giving inspirational words and writing an inspirational book, and you know that if you go to their social media, you can be encouraged, it helps to not only be able to identify that source, but to get a chance to talk to them. So please help me welcome Dr. Gerald Hightower. Hi, how are you?
I am excellent.
First of all, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
I
you.
greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. The honor's mine.
We've been on social media together.
Yes.
And you follow me, I follow you.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of your posts. And everything is about inspiration. It's about moving on. It's about putting that one foot in front of the other and walking across the floor, getting out the door. Just kind of, picking yourself up and getting to a point where you can stand up.
Yes.
Where you can realize that even if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know that no matter how dark the night might be, the sun is going to rise in the morning.
Yes, indeed.
So
Always.
where do you get that from? How does that come out of you?
Well, Lady Armani, you just hit the nail on the head. It's understanding that no matter how dark situations may be in life, joy comes in the morning.
Okay.
And so maintaining that sense of hope, maintaining that sense of faith is what just really propels me forward every day.
Wow. So now you are a doctor. You're a doctor of ministry.
Yes.
So you've been working at this for a while.
Yes.
So there's different kinds. I've heard, we've got Baptist, we've got Pentecostal, we've got Catholic. Where do you fall in that? Are you just a doctor, minister of life? Is it all people? Come on, let's just band together and be like, what is your expertise when it comes to your doctorate?
Well, that's an excellent question. First and foremost, my religious background, so to speak, I am all the above.
Okay, absolutely.
But I was ordained, became an ordained minister in the Church of God in Christ. When you say Church of God in Christ, you actually got to say a little deep with it. Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
Put a little flavor on it.
Yes.
But ordained in the Church of God in Christ under the late, great Bishop Benjamin J. Crouch, who was the father of Andre Crouch.
Okay.
And so I was ordained there in 1993.
Okay.
And then just matriculated through several different denominations, just serving in everything that I've always done. Even if it was involving music ministry or teaching and preaching, always everything was, the foundation of it is all about love.
Okay.
And I understood, although I didn't embrace it fully back then, 20-something years ago, but I always knew that there was something, a special calling toward love and relationships.
Okay.
And so fast forward 20 years later, actually 15 years later, it started about 2003, where I started couples, married couples, as well as couples who were dating, started reaching out to me and says, hey, I'd like to get some counseling from you. Hey, can you help me with my relationship?
Absolutely.
Hey, can you help us with our marriage?
Absolutely.
And so that's where it really began.
Wow. So, you say you matriculated through the different religions. And so do you feel as though now, with your style of thought and guidance and counseling, that you pull from all of them, that you have basically a rainbow of wealth of knowledge that can appeal to anyone or that can assist anyone regardless of their religious background?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the message of love is universal. God is love.
Okay.
And so if you have a foundation of God in your life, whether or not you serve in this denomination or that denomination, or quite frankly, even if you believe, you ascribe to a different religious belief.
Okay.
If at the core God is at the foundation of what you believe in, then you ascribe to love. And if you embrace the message of love, which is to be unconditionally given to everyone, if you embrace that message, then we can come to a place of agreement.
Wow.
We can find common ground.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we come back. We're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. I am sitting here with Dr. Gerald Hightower, and we are talking about love and ministry and, of course, God.
Yes, absolutely.
So my question to you is, a lot of people's faith, you know, we're in a tender stage right now. We've got a lot of things going on. Our faith has been questioned.
Yes.
Our faith has been tested. And it isn't necessarily, you know, as far as being a religious zealot. You know, a lot of people aren't going to church. You got some people that are. But, you know, we're just kind of as our personal faith, because I believe whether or not you tout to be Baptist or Muslim or Catholic, everyone has a personal faith, whether that faith is just in you,
right,
or, you know, whatever. That, you know, some people believe in the clouds, whatever. You know, they run their life by the signs. But the faith is, our faith is constantly tested.
Yes.
And encouragement, I believe, is something that everyone looks for in different ways. But what I see people kind of shy away from is the ministry, because they don't want to feel bad about, oh, okay, I'm not really going to church. You know, I don't go to confession. I haven't been at the mosque. So it's like, how do you deal with that person, that secular world? Are you able to go into the secular world and help them as well as the non-secular?
Absolutely. I'm called to the secular world.
Okay.
I am a leader in the church, but I'm called to the world. In fact, the principle that Jesus leaves us is that all of us are called to the world. But religion and a religious mindset has locked us into an infinitesimally small place, whereas we don't consider that if I'm going to be effective at spreading the message of unconditional love, that I've got to move outside of the church, not stay confined to the church. There is ministry inside of the church, but real ministry, if we're going to spread the message of love, unconditional love for all people, worldwide, we've got to move outside of the church.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember my grandmother was the ordained minister, God bless her soul. And I remember her making a statement at one point that there wasn't the people in the church that needed saving.
Right.
It was the people outside the church that we had to reach to.
Absolutely.
And by people being cemented in the pulpit, if you will, we were missing the souls that were out there on the corner, on the street, in the houses, that needed doctrine, that needed healing, that needed saving, you know. So, and I think that, you know, now with the age of technology and the way the digital world is, being able to spread a message seems to be, you know, being more widespread. You know, I see a lot of ministers now that are on television, that are using, you know, the social media. I see that, and it's like, okay, this is a movement. But I think it also speaks to what you just said, that you gotta get from behind the pulpit in order to help the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's embracing a new mindset. It's letting go of the traditional mindset that keeps us confined. But again, if we're going to be like Jesus, if we're going to actually model love, then modeling love means I've got to move beyond my little comfortable confines, my little traditional environment, my own little denominational belief system, and I've got to reach out to others.
Absolutely.
So again, as you stated, for me, I know I'm called to the world. I'm called to the entertainment industry. I'm called to media and to impact people in those arenas. The business sector, the political sector. I pastored a church for 7 years in California. 3 of that city's city council members were members of my church. And I was often called into to host and coordinate town hall meetings when there was, you know, civil unrest in the city. And I would be called in to come and serve in a way that would bring people back together. So I guess that was a gift of conflict resolution.
Absolutely, 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 definitely. So you have a book that you are working on now. And the name of the book is?
When a Man Loves a Woman.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about it.
The book is all about a man's pursuit of how he develops, how he cultivates a relationship with a woman, and how he moves that relationship toward marriage.
Okay.
And then I share in that book painful things that I've gone through, mistakes that I've made in my relationships, how I was once a very selfish man, but how I learned how to become selfless.
Okay.
And I even talk about in that book the pain of divorce, and then having to get back to a place of wholeness and healing in your heart so that you can open your heart again for love.
That's phenomenal. I know a lot of people have gone through pain, and they're still going through it simply because they haven't learned, A, the lesson from what brought about the pain,
Yes.
and B, they haven't forgiven anyone. They're still holding on to the anger. And when you boil anger down, it comes from a place of pain.
Yes.
And so now you're basically just holding on to the pain.
Exactly.
So in your book, When a Man Loves a Woman, you said you deal with and you share your stories?
Yes, I share my own stories. I share my own story of what it's like to go through the process of divorce, separation, and even just on a relationship level, you know, going through the process of dating a woman, giving yourself fully to the relationship, but perhaps going in with a selfish agenda that I'm going to look to get what I can rather than seek to what I can give. And so those are some lessons. And I also interview several other men as well in the
Really?
book.
So my question to you, and you know, I just like to know, do you own your part in your book? You know, and I say that because we all, regardless man, woman, or whatever, if you're married and the marriage dissolves,
Yes.
if you know, for whatever reason, we played a part in that dissolution. You know, but a lot of times we hear the one story, and you know, they
Right.
say, you know, the loudest wheel the squeakiest wheel gets the most oil.
Right.
So we hear only one part of the story, and it's like, okay, you know what I mean? He was cheating, or he was a dog, and that's why I left.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't hear what you were doing. That, you know what I mean? You was just a hateful, mean shrew that
Right.
you didn't
Right.
want to be
Right.
around.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I
Exactly.
mean? So, in your book, you know, when we're talking to these people, when we're interviewing these people, when you're doing this, are they owning their part? Are they telling, you know what I mean? You know what? I regret the fact that I did such and such and such and such, because maybe I wouldn't be here alone now, or maybe I wouldn't have gone through that.
Right. Well, that's the advantage I have, Lady Armani. That's the advantage I have. I get to cheat a little bit because as a pastoral counselor, and having now served in this arena for 14 years, I bring that experience to the table. So whether it's a man or a woman, they can't hide from me in the interview.
Okay.
So we have to become real. And what helps that realness take place and that transparency is that I'm sharing from my heart, my experience, which will of course allow that person to open up and share as well. So yes, ownership is necessary because you can't heal.
You can't.
And you can't progress into a future relationship if you're still holding on to pain from your past.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit more when we come back. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. I am sitting here with the inspirational and encouraging Dr. Gerald Hightower. So I think one of the things that's important to know is the platform of social media and how it's so widespread. I think the last count, there were billions and billions and billions of people that is on social media. And that is, in fact, as I said earlier in our interview, how we met. How, by seeing some of your posts and, double clicking it because I liked it and hearing some of the things that you had to say. And more often than not, when I decided to go through social media, it actually gave me inspiration at the time. Because a lot of times you can be going through the most minor thing. You don't realize how it's affecting you. Someone calls and has to call out, and now you're trying to find a replacement. And ordinarily you might say, oh, that's not that deep. But what was going on the day before and the day before? And then that's usually the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you're like, oh my God, I can't go on. And then you go on social media and you'll see something from Dr. Hightower that says, No, you can go on. You just have to pick your pen up and continue to write. So you were kind enough to give us a couple of your videos that you do on social media, and we would like to share it with our viewing audience. Take a look.
This is Gerald T. Hightower. I am the Love Strategist, and welcome to the Late Night Love Chat, where we are all about building healthy love relationships. Ladies, we're talking about 3 ways to find out if this man in your life, or the man who's trying to be in your life, if he is really ready for marriage. Listen, ladies, this is going to bless your sanctified stockings off tonight, because many of my precious sisters have just been getting it all wrong. Been getting it all wrong as it relates to proper preparation for marriage. Miss Price, thank you for the super heart. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Listen, Marilyn, I see you coming in, dear. Appreciate you, my sister. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. So listen, I really want to bless you here, ladies and gentlemen, because tonight, the most critical thing that you've got to understand about the mindset of a man is there are certain things that men do when they sincerely love you and they want to make you a wife. Listen, you got to be careful though, because some men will give you all of the signs of readiness, but in actuality, he's not ready. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be discerning. And so what your brother, Dr. G, is going to share with you tonight is 3 ways to find out if he is really ready for marriage. Because what you must not do, ladies, you must not allow yourself to be strung along for months and years at a time, only to find out in the end that this joker gonna go and marry somebody else, and you have given him years of your life. Don't do it, ladies. Don't fall for the okie doke. Listen, let's go. And welcome to the Late Night Love Chat. I am the CEO of the Love Institute, where we are all about the business of building healthy love relationships. We give you tips on dating. We give you tips on how to move the dating level relationship, which is all about discovery. But we help you move that relationship.
So, as you can see, just by, and of course, you guys, you can go to Dr. Hightower's website, or you can come to my website, which is www.talkwitharmani.com, if you would like to see the full video or be able to link up to him to see more of his inspirational thoughts. So when you're preparing for a video, when you're preparing for one of your inspirational, I'm not going to call it a sermon because people freeze that sermon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what I mean? One of your inspirational talks. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Like, how do you do it? Do you have to get into the mood? Like, do you put the headphones on and it's and you channel some inner, like, peaceful guru? Because in order to talk peace, I would have to think that you would have to be at peace.
Yes.
So it's like, because you can't talk it and you got all kinds of chaos going on.
Absolutely.
So what is your method?
Yeah, I covet peace. I mean, peace is where I live. Mm-hmm. So yes, for me, every day, whenever I'm going to do, if it's a broadcast on social media, I usually take about an hour to about an hour and a half to prepare. Okay. And it really depends on what the topic is. Mm-hmm. I really try to get in my peaceful place and kind of spend some quiet time meditating. Mm-hmm. And then I just wait on the download. That's what I call it, the download. The download, right. Yeah, and so whatever that is. Last week I did one that was amazing. I think 1,400 people picked it up and viewed it like in a matter of no time. Mm-hmm. And the word for today was patience. Well, that was because I was dealing with something. Okay. And I realized as even I was on a train ride, I said, shout out to Amtrak. Okay. You guys are wonderful. But as I was on this train ride, I realized that I was dealing with some things, and if I simply was patient, then the process would be complete, and I would end up with the results that I wanted.
And you know what? That's so true. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about patience.
Yes.
We'll be right back. You're watching A Talk with Armani. Welcome back to A Talk with Armani. So if you're just joining us, you've missed some inspirational talking. But you can always go to the website, www.atalkwitharmani.com, and you can click on Dr. Gerald Hightower's picture, and you'll be able to see some of his inspirational broadcasts as well as his social media, which we'll give to you at the end of the show, as well as maybe catch a glimpse of what we were talking about here today. So before the break, we were talking about patience. And oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That right there, I think, is something that I need to continuously strive for. I thought, you know how you think you have it?
Yes.
You know, you think that you're one of the most patient people in the world until something comes and will test that patience.
Absolutely.
It'll test you all the way out. And you sitting there like, and it's like, well, wait a minute. I'm patient, but I didn't know I had to be that patient.
Right.
I didn't know I had to be that understanding.
Right.
So it's like we feel as though we've got it kind of going on. We, you know, and then something minor will happen that springs into not so happy, that springs into now major, and it's like, wait a minute, why is this still going on?
Right.
This should have been resolved itself. You know what I mean? So then it's like it tests your limits, your elasticity gets tested. You know, so patience, wow. That's something that I think that I don't know if anyone has got a grip on that.
It's a class that we'll never graduate from.
Right.
So we just need to embrace that reality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to graduate from this class.
Yeah. I mean, because I think I've seen some of the most cool, calm, and collected people like lose it.
Absolutely.
Because it could be things that can really, 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 really get you to a point where you're like, oh my goodness. Me and my grandmother, and again, God rest her soul, we used to have a conversation and that we could deal with anyone.
Yes.
You know, it did not matter. We could deal with anyone.
Right.
And then, you know, when we came back in another conversation, she said, you know what, baby, I have to correct that. There's a class of people that I can't deal with.
Yes.
So that I said, well, what people are? She said, people that practice the art of stupidity.
Wow.
And I said, huh? She said, it's an art to it. It has to be. She said, because we have people that are embracing stupidity.
Yes.
And they are practicing the art of it. And I'm looking like, okay, because I think we're getting ready to offend a whole bunch of people. What exactly are you talking about? And she said, well, a stupid person knows better.
Yes.
They know the right way.
But they refuse to do
They
so.
refuse to go the right way. They will see the smoke. They will see the flames.
Yes.
And they will continue to go on.
In the wrong direction. Yeah. Right.
They
toward the
will.
fire.
They know they could be burnt. They can see the sign that says "Be wary of crocodiles," and still stick their foot into the lake.
Yeah.
She said, "So I have to draw the line that I'm not even going to begin to pretend that I am able to deal with that class of people."
Absolutely.
And for the longest time, I was like, okay, that's deep. You know, everybody should have a chance. People should have a chance to prove themselves. People should have a chance to be able to do what needs to be done. You know what I mean? Like, you try to think about it. But at the end of the day, it's like now, you know, having dealt with this and dealt with that, it's extremely hard to excuse that type of behavior.
Yes.
Because we come about it all the time. We're seeing it now more and more. And then I think that's what tests my patience the most.
Stupidity.
It's because it's like, you know better.
Right.
And I know you know better.
Yes.
You know, it's like that Kevin Hart thing. I saw you see me see you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly,
And you want to
exactly.
stand there and say it's not you?
Right.
You know, so yeah, that has been, I think, the bane of my existence. That's recognizing that is a thing. That people do practice that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, people will take on, and I've been told this many times as a pastor, you know, well, pastor, you got to give them a chance. But I learned, Lady Armani, that there is a group of people, that I am not called to.
Right.
And that's the stupid people.
Yes.
And I don't mean that to sound offensively. So, America, I don't mean to be offensive, okay?
Right.
I love everyone.
But at the end of the day,
I'm just not called to everyone.
right, and at the end of the day, I think that people who are practicing the art of stupidity. You know, they're doing, I think their whole purpose is to get on someone's nerves. Because why else? Like, you do it for an audience. Because I can't imagine that when they're home by themselves, that they're throwing themselves down steps or something.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I can't imagine that when they're home by themselves, they're purposely drinking bleach. You know what I mean? They don't do it. It's for the audience.
Right.
They want someone to say, well, what did you just say?
Shock factor.
Yeah, so I think that's what it comes down to. Recently, I was on Instagram and somebody had said something that was just so confusing, and I was like, the art, you know what I mean, the look when someone says something foolish, you know what I mean, where you're confused at their foolishness.
Right.
Because it's like, what? I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like when somebody, a public figure, you know what I mean, makes a statement on national television and it's totally wrong. And you look at them like they're crazy, but then you have to look at their staff like, did you just set him up?
Right.
You know what I mean? So definitely I get it. You know what I mean? But patience. It all comes down to patience.
Yes, it does.
It all does. And knowing what your limits are.
Yeah, you
Because
have to know
if
your limits.
if you can't be patient in that situation, walk away.
Right. You have to know your limits, and patience is one of the greatest attributes of love that we can give to one another.
Absolutely.
Because some days it's not that I'm being stupid, but some days I just I'm not having a great day.
Right.
It's not my best day. I might be feeling a little some kind of way emotionally. I may not be feeling well physically, right? And so I may be a little bit slow. And you might be like, come on, Gerald, come on, let's go.
No.
Come on, get with it. And I'm like, I'm just not feeling that great today.
Right. Today's not my day.
Today's not my day,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So patience, we have to be able to exercise the fruit of patience, because that is demonstrating love for someone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for demonstrating patience with me this morning and coming on to the show and being my guest. And please tell us how we can reach out to you, how we can talk to you, follow you on social media. Please tell us, how do we do it?
Well, all of my handles on social media are all the same, DRG, Dr. G Hightower, on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope. Definitely want to follow me on Facebook Live and Periscope. And then my website is reallovenation.com. That's reallovenation.com.
All righty. Well, thank you once again for joining me. And thank you for tuning in and watching me. And please go to the website, www.atalkwitharmani.com, and forgive the www. Everybody tells me all the time, I don't need to say it. I say it. I'm old school. You all know how old I am. And if you don't know, you won't know. But anyway, so I say it. And if you want to call and talk to me, you can call me at 1-855-7-ARMANI. I usually return all my calls. So pick up the phone and give me a call. Until next time, stay safe and make sure you tune in. Talk to you soon.
The preceding program was sponsored by A Talk with Armani.